Alright, so let's see. This is Sky Temple Mokka on Tracer. We're in a Storm Division game here. Just based off of the rosters that I'm seeing, Red Team seems a lot more stacked than the Blue Team. I only recognize Flyest Raven as like a competitive player. I just played with Ultanian earlier today in SL, so I know they're like at least somewhat high rank, but just I recognize a lot of the red side players as like having histories of playing competitively, like all of them. So let's see right here, Tracer just going out. What is this? I'm gonna go ahead and just at the start of the game, since this part takes a decently long time, we're just gonna watch what Mokka does. Good lane harass on Ultanian. He gets tongued, but that happens every now and then. And then he's going to want to get on these Siege Giants in just a second. I worry he's going to Fiesta a little too long and be a little late. Yeah, he's basically got it, yeah. It's just like a second late. Yep, pretty decent stuff. Oh, almost lost it, but not quite. That was really close. Yeah, so far Mokka's just playing a pretty typical game of Tracer. Doesn't need to cover top soak. He's good. He can just go mid. Hey, this is what y'all should be doing as Hogger on Bruiser camps, by the way. Just in general, Hogger is like one of the fastest camp takers in the game. And people don't do it enough. Right here again, nothing really to talk about so far with Mokka. Kind of questionable blink usage right there. I'm sure he was thinking of something, but I don't really know what he was doing. Mok, press X. Alright, what's up? What's X? Oh, you want me to zoom out with Z? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, I forgot that that's usually how people prefer to watch replays. And then I know you can Alt-Z, like, to go even further, right? Or is it Control-Z or Shift-Z? Yeah, Shift-Z. Okay, yeah. A little bit of top lane push right there while he still had the advantage without the Zeratul showing up. Not really much to comment on. Remember when Rage affected Hogwild damage to non-heroes? Yeah, that was nuts. Okay, let's see. So starting here with this first objective, I think is when we're actually going to start to see where Mokka's personal skill expression can come into play. So far, all he's really done is just what a Tracer's supposed to do, which is good, you know what I mean? Like, no complaints about it so far. He's just sort of picked up soak, picked up camps, abused melee heroes where he could. It's an interesting decision to have Mokka play for the soak right here. I don't want to call this a Tracer misplay because I feel like this might just be like a shock call, but I question that decision to have him soak bottom right there. Not necessarily saying it's bad, I just find it a little questionable. Okay, you're not really going to do too much bottom. Zeratul just blinks away, right? Wow. Wow. Okay, wow. I didn't think that kill would ever happen in a million years. No, really good stuff. I don't think I would have gone for that. Really good stuff by Mokka and team. Good coordination to know that they could get that kill. That's definitely some comp experience showing up right there. So far, the build is good. Like the build. Lower that volume just a little bit. And hold on, let me see that kill back again. I need to see that again. Come on, replay review. It's only going back 10 seconds. All right, here we go. Who's ready to play some balloon bumper boys? Let's go. This is my favorite Tracer skin. This one right here, the balloon. Yeah, I'm going to restart the replay. Okay. I was hoping that wouldn't happen, but I expected far too much out of Blizzard's replay system. All right. So we're just going to have it go on max speed until they show back up right here. Let's see. He does the camp. They almost invade, but he just barely gets it off. And guys, he probably got that off because he pulse bombed that camp. That was a smart decision to pulse bomb that camp right there. And thus not lose that camp. See, we're going around here. He's catching soak during first objective. He rotates down. They get the successful gank on Zeratul, and we're back, baby. Let's go. So we're watching this from his point of view. So at the moment, we can see where Mokka has his camera. Where the camera shifts is where Mokka had his camera. We're seeing basically his perspective. You can even see his clicks on the ground. If you look on the ground to see like where the little clicks pop up, that's where he was clicking at the time. So overall, just really good stuff. Like where the difference started to show up with Mokka was at this bottom fort on those 2 dives. Those were really good. That could have just been following the shot call of his team, but the ability to see those and execute those was very smart. Yeah, just getting the kill on Falstead right there, that was just free kill. But the ability to recognize and capitalize on free kills is very good. While they've got that Falstead dead and level 10 advantage, is a 100% free cap of the Giants. Honestly, I feel like they could even go for boss in this situation. And again, this is where Mokka has his camera, by the way, guys. Like, I'm just pointing that out. Like, I have my camera set to follow Mokka's around wherever he puts it. So that's kind of always an interesting problem. Like when you're diving really deep and you're only diving in like the very corner of your camera. Like what was happening right there on the mid fort. Right here, it's a very minor misplay not to stand in the Swift Retribution and get like literally like 14% extra DPS or something like that. Good Hortipult by Hogger to get back in there. But he can't survive. That sucks. I thought for sure they had that boss. Yeah, I was gonna say, you blink out of that every time. I personally, like, I want to go back and watch that, but I'm worried about the replay breaking again, but I think he definitely should have blinked out of that sooner to risk not getting stunned by Murden Q. And here, all you can really do is harass this boss. That is like the unluckiest place for that tornado to spawn. That sucks. Man, Mokka keeps his camera really still. It's crazy. I really hope that every stim drone this game goes on to Greymane. Okay, Mokka coming in for the fight right here. Immediately onto the false stab. That's pretty good. Got the gust out. So far he's playing this right, I think. Yep, you can land the pulse bomb onto Haka, and even if it doesn't land, how do you play the game like this, Mokka? Like with the field barely in your vision. Regardless, you land the pulse bomb onto Haka. Even if it doesn't land, you get the self heal, you get the blink charge. That's pretty good. I would say my first major disagreement with how he's handled this is this Quantum Spike pick. I could maybe see it if like this Tyrael was Judgment. I actually think that's probably better than what the team ended up doing right here. Like, we have Sanctification into Void Prison, and Void Prison is one of the strongest counters to Sanctification in the game. I kind of think the Sanctification pick is trolling, and that this needed to be Judgment, and if it was Judgment, to punish the fact that they have multiple squishies on their team that blow up the second you do that, then the Quantum Spike pick is really good. I still think Quantum Spike is good even if you have Sanctification. I would probably go Pulse Rounds myself here, but the enemy team is weak to Burst, and I can understand the logic of going Quantum Spike. And also, you can always just dive with Hogger Hortipult, right? Like, you can always just follow up on that and Quantum Spike somebody. That should be easy. Jumper, I believe that's Jumper, yeah. Let me speed this back up now that nothing's really happening. Super, and of course, as soon as I do that. Really good free damage on Ultanian right there. Good job hiding behind the minion wave so that he couldn't get hit by Stormbolt as easily, because it does have Pierce, or Dahaka's Tongue. Very good damage just sitting here harassing the front line for free, completely forcing them out of the lane, forcing them to reset. And again, just taking the free damage on Ultanian. I think he could have done about another half mag on Ultanian completely free right there, but it doesn't make a huge difference. That recall to avoid the Zeratul W damage while your medic is full energy right next to you is completely unnecessary. He got hit with the blink bug right there, which made him get hit with the Dahaka Q. And he blinked out of this way too late. But it doesn't really matter. As long as he doesn't die, medic heals him back to full. Yep, you're either free hitting the tanks right here for free damage, or you're taking out that healing fountain. Those are your two options. Ah, that Stormbolt was kind of unfortunate. It doesn't really make a difference, though. They have no kill threat up here, right? Like, with the two frontline and the healer, they could literally land all their CC, and as long as they don't, like, drag him under a tower, they can't kill him. So he's free to be, like, super aggro and just harass out of his mind right here. Yeah, and you can see it with all that free damage going out into the Haka. Tyrael has no mana. Good job blinking onto that globe. Tracer, that's something that, like, good Tracers do a lot, is, like, they can go for those globes that no one else is grabbing really, really easily with how much control they have over positioning. And so, like, especially if you're stealing globes from the enemy team, that's so huge. Blinking straight at the Muradin, in my opinion, was kind of a misplay. Usually if you're, like, chasing a Muradin, I typically want to blink, like, diagonally towards them, so I'm not blinking right at them, I'm kind of blinking offset a bit. And it makes you a lot less likely to get hit by a Stormbolt. Whereas if you blink at them and they happen to Stormbolt, then the only way you dodge it is if you blink over the Stormbolt, which is pretty unlikely. Can be done, though, on low ping intentionally, but that clearly wasn't what was happening there. Yes, but I just looked in the chat and see Spazzo saying, imagine you could theoretically blink through the Stormbolt. You totally can. Yep, I've done it before. And, yeah, I've coached Tracers who've done it. I've seen them do it. Let's see right here. That's a very weird fight. But even then, you're still going to get theoretically more consistent results blinking a little bit diagonally, unless you just absolutely need that distance. Good damage pressure so far. I find this bullet spray pick kind of questionable. I don't think you need the macro, and I think Ricochet will give you better camp clear. Obviously worse wave clear, but I don't think you desperately need that wave clear. And especially with how much free autoing Mokka has been doing on the enemy front line, Ricochet would be so much extra damage in these fights. Whereas heavy-handed would also be a shitload of burst damage into a team that's weak to burst damage and weak to dive. So, like, I think this is the worst 16 Mokka could have picked. Based on how this is going right here. And for those of you who don't know specifically, I'm referring to Bullet Spray. This talent right here, I'll leave the description up for you. Right here, Bruiser camp is up. I feel like they could just go to Bruisers. Like, you have one person clear out this wave for a second, the other person goes to Bruisers. Maybe they just don't want to leave boss unattended, but... Yeah, it's about the boss pit. Yeah, forget what I said about Bruisers. And Hogger's on it anyway. They have the best Bruiser clear in the game. I'm just talking some BS right now. Don't listen to what I said earlier. Why? Is he hitting boss for bomb charge? Yeah, that's what it is. He's hitting boss for bomb charge right here. He's not seriously trying to kill it. He just wants more bomb charge in case there's a fight. I think that was a kind of questionable step to walk that close to the bush, but they probably saw enemy heroes in vision. Yeah, right now everybody's just waiting. I'm going to speed this up a little bit, just a tad. Good mid-wave clear. Now you rotate down. Don't let them take this boss for free. Hogger's going to be in Hortipult range soon. There's going to be a gust. Ooh, terrible anti-synergy between that team. Void Prison into Gust? Oh, that's got to feel bad for the enemy team. A little bit of miscommunication right there. Yeah, and then that just opens them up to get deleted. I think if the enemy team had played their cards a little better, this fight would have gone very differently, but that was just enemy team throw and good punish in light of that throw. Yeah, really good punish. And for this point, the game's basically decided. We can see there's only like another 30 seconds left in the replay. So overall, I feel that the start of the game was pretty textbook from Mokka, just did what he was supposed to do. The dives under fort looked great. I'm wondering why is he hitting tower here and not just... It doesn't matter, right? Like, you're gonna win anyway, but still just weird. Early game looked great, super textbook. I like most of the talent build. I think the 10 makes some sense. I don't think it's the necessary same thing. I think he's just stat padding. What is this? The 10 makes some sense, and I get it into this enemy team comp, and with the Hogger, I probably wouldn't have done it myself. I think the 16 was the worst possible choice that could have been made there. Overall, though, pretty good game of Tracer. I like how all the fights were navigated. I thought it was good stuff. The camera angles really stuck out to me. One thing I would maybe suggest if Mokka watches this replay is to consider as he's diving, holding down the spacebar, which centers the camera on yourself. And that way you don't have to worry about like edge panning or clicking anything to move your camera up. You just hold spacebar while you're diving, and then you have a much better view of what you're diving on. Because there were a lot of moments where he was like literally fighting at like the edge of his camera, which is a bad habit I have sometimes, the Tracer too. Decent game. I think this is not to be toxic or anything. I think that this game was more lost by the other team than won by Mokka's team, though. Alrighty, let's move on to the other replay. That one went pretty quick.